Alright, Shalom, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that rule well, and Shalom to your argument, we're pushing this word around the globe in faith and truth and sincerity. So, we are the real Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you do get Israelites who are going to look like all the other nations because we've been scattered amongst them throughout our various captivities, and therefore you're going to get Israelites that will look like all people. However, if their seed line by their father goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel, then they are Israelites too, no matter what they look like. So in this lesson, I want to talk about this article that I was just reading, and this basically is just another example of Esau being Esau, because you've got these two Edomites on the screen here. And this shows how Esau is just, Esau can't get along with anybody, even amongst his own people. They can't get along amongst themselves, so let's get into this. And for those of you who don't know who Esau is or who the Edomites are, the Edomites are what would predominantly be called today as white people. Now, not all white people are Edomites, because you are going to get some Edomites that have leprosy. Leprosy is the curse that was put upon Cain in the Bible after he murdered Abel in Genesis. And the curse of leprosy came back on Cain again in his spirit when he was reincarnated as Esau, because reincarnation is biblical. So that curse that was put upon him, the mark of leprosy, was on him when he reappeared and is upon his descendants. However, as I said earlier, you are going to get Israelites that have the curse of leprosy because Israel has been scattered amongst all people. And on the other hand, you're going to get Edomites that have dark skin, So this isn't about the outer appearance. It's really about your seed line and your spirit. Because when you become a spiritual man and you understand the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the scriptures, you start to look at things on a much deeper level. You start to discern spirits. And when you're grounded in this truth, it isn't too hard to spot the spirit of an Edomite. So let's get into this. It says, woman 41, who mercilessly, that's a trait of Esau, mercilessly beat her hoarder neighbor 64 to death with a spade after blaming her messy home on making her house impossible to sell, is found guilty of murder. See, this is the thing. Esau was a murderer from the beginning. And this Edomite murdered this other Edomite for what? Money, because she wanted to sell her property, didn't she? But because she couldn't sell it, she blamed the neighbor, so murdered her as a result. So this is Edomite traits and tendencies right here, man. And ultimately, this woman who got put to death, the one that was killed, that was a judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for whatever it is she done. That was how Yahweh judged that she'd go out, because Esau used the wicked as his sword to slay another one. So basically, Esau, the scriptures say the deceived and the deceiver are his. The Most High controls all things that go on this earth. So let's just get into this article. As you can see, these miserable looking Edomites here. The reason why they're called Edomites is because they're of the nation of Edom, and they're not white people, they're red, because as you can see, their blood shows forth through their skin. This woman on the left here, she's wearing a white top, but her face is closer to red. Just like the woman on the left, I said first, and the woman on the right, she's sitting amongst the white background, but her face is closer to the tone of the dress that she's wearing. That's more reddish, or I should say more red, Anyway, let's get into this. Debbie Foxwell had a hatred for her untidy hoarder neighbor, Louise Lotz. Foxwell blamed Mrs. Lotz for her inability to sell her home in Hertfordshire. After a row in the garden, Foxwell hit Miss Lotz 4 or 5 times with a spade. Foxwell denied murder, but jurors today convinced her at St. Albans Crown Court. A woman who bludgeoned her next-door neighbour to death with a garden spade was convicted of murder today. Debbie Foxwell had a visceral hatred for her untidy hoarder, Louise Lotz, and blamed her for her inability to sell her home in Welwyn Garden City, Hertfordshire. After former Liberal Democrat councillor Miss Lotz, 64, snatched her phone while during a row in the back garden, Foxwell grabbed a spade from her garden shed, kicked open the front door of her neighbour's home and smashed the television and a laptop. South African-born Miss Lotz was on the phone to police and ran out of a hiding place to another neighbour's doorstep shouting, "Help me, help me," before Foxwell followed and fatally attacked her. St Albans Crown Court heard Miss Foxwell turn the spade into a machete-like weapon by turning it on its side and hitting her victim 4 or 5 times, mostly in the head. Damn, man, so she didn't hit her with the flat end of the spade, she hit her with the edge of it, so that must have been like a hacking or slashing type of attack. Look at this Edomite, man. Damn. Damn. Debbie Foxwell pictured had a visceral hatred for her untidy hoarder, Louise Lotz, and blamed her for her inability to sell her own home in Welwyn Garden City, Hertfordshire. The court heard that she had returned home following the attack on 24th of August last year, telling her partner, "It's over, I have done it." So she was plotting this shit from before, man. Foxwell denied murdering Miss Lotz, but admitted manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. The jury today found her guilty of murder. Judge Michael K. QC will sentence her on March the 20th. Prosecutor Aaron Blake said it was a sustained and brutal and merciless attack. Edomite's tendencies right there. At around 8 p.m. on a late summer's day last year, after a day of tension and disputes over the fence, this defendant went to her shed in her back garden and picked up a spade. She walked through her house, number 10, and kicked open the door of number 8 in a furious rage. She used the spade to smash an electrical items in a lounge before pursuing her neighbour, who made a run for safety. Louise Lotz got to the front door of number 6. Debbie Foxwell caught her and repeatedly bludgeoned her with the spade before causing catastrophic injuries to the head. Now, we're supposed to be into our words. I know what the word catastrophic means, but I want to look into it for edification's sake. The nature of catastrophe, or disastrous or calamitous. Well, catastrophic is quite a colourful word. So this is the person that died, who got judged by Yahweh for whatever reason. South African-born Miss Lotz pictured was murdered by Foxwell, who hit her with a spade. It's a bit of a miserable way to go out, isn't it? But this is all by the will of Yahweh Shai. The prosecutor added the sustained ferocity of the attack and the number of blows make it plain she intended to kill her and succeeded in doing so. The jury heard Miss Lotz, who had 2 sons, one of whom died as a child, had lived at number 8 for many years and had a lodger, Liam Graham. She was something of an untidy hoarder, Mr. Blake said. The rear garden was overgrown and unloved. The interior was cluttered. Foxwell, who formerly worked for the drug firm Roche, had moved into number 10 5 years before the killing. The prosecutor went on. Initially, reactions were cordial, but they swiftly deteriorated. As so often in neighbours' disputes, it began over petty matters, boundaries, bins and borders. From 2015 onwards, disputes between the pair were frequently reported to the police by both parties. Officers kept running logs of their disputes. Foxwell was prosecuted for assault and criminal damage against Louise. Foxwell home pictured left, lives next door to Miss Lotz, house pictured right, on a tree-lined street in Hertfordshire. In 2016, her husband Paul died from cancer. By 2019, she was in a new relationship with Dutchman Anthony Vroon. Foxwell was seeking to move away from the address in Welwyn Garden City, Mr. Blake said. She blamed Louise Lotz, rightly or wrongly, for not being able to sell her property. On July 23rd last year, common protection warning notices were issued to both women, banning them from harassing, trespassing, or taking photographs of each other. Mr. Blake said the defendant's visceral hatred of Louise Lotz intensified. On July 31st, a security doorbell recorded Foxwell walking past and swinging her bag into Louise's head as she tended plants in her front garden. The jury heard that on the day of the killing, Foxwell and her partner had been removing garden panels and adjoining the victim's garden to paint them. During the course of the row, both women had called the police. At around 8 p.m, Mrs. Lotz was filmed by Foxwell on her mobile as she moved an orange wheelie bin to the gap in the fence. Mrs. Lotz then grabbed the phone, which contained images of Foxwell's late husband, and ran into her home, pursued by Foxwell, who threw clay pots and a lawnmower against one of Miss Lotz's windows. The victim was on the phone to the police as Foxwell went into the shed to collect a spade. Mrs. Lotz's lodger, warehouse worker Liam Graham, told the jury Foxwell broke into the house. He said Debbie had a spade in her hand. She said, "Where is she?" I said, "Who?" She said, "You know who." And I said, "I don't know where she is." She was springing the spade from side to side. She hit the spade through a great big plasma. She put the spade through a great big plasma TV. She's lucky she didn't get electrocuted, I guess. But I guess spades have got wooden handles, haven't they? And smashed the laptop into a million pieces. Mr. Graham told the court, Foxwell said, "There's no bitch. There's the bitch," as Louise ran out of the house. He said Mrs. Lotz was pleading on the door of number 6, hammering away like mad, saying, "Help me, help me." Foxwell turned the spade into something like a machete by turning it on its side and hit her 4 or 5 times, he said. Mostly it hit her head. After the former Liberal Democrat councillor Miss Lotz pictured snatched Foxwell's phone during a row in the back garden, Foxwell grabbed a spade from her garden shed, kicked open the front door of her neighbour's home and smashed a television and laptop. He went on, "I was close enough to hear everything. I was screaming at her to stop. I tried to intervene once. She turned and said, 'You best stay out of the way if you know what's good for you.'" Mr. Vroon, 36, told the jury he believed she was still grieving for the loss of her husband, Paul, who had died of cancer at the age of 33. She had been in a relationship with Paul Foxwell for 8.5 years before he was diagnosed with inoperable and aggressive form of cancer. They married in a chapel at the hospital 3 weeks before he died in June 2016. Questioned by Peter Doyle QC for Foxwell, Mr. Vroon agreed her grief for Paul was still very real and she was on antidepressants. Mr. Vroon said he met Debbie Foxwell in October 2017. He was working as an IT manager in Peterborough and she had taken a career break from her work in cancer research. He said they moved in together but were looking to move to a bigger house. The property had been on the market for probably longer than half a year. We were struggling to sell it. We both blamed the state of the property at number 8, he said. Asked by prosecutor Alan Blake if he had much to do with Mrs. Lotz, he replied, "Not particularly. She liked to stare at me and watch me park the car. I found it unsettling and annoying." He said there had been a lot of tensions between Foxwell and Mrs. Lotz from what his partner had told him for at least 6 years. On the afternoon of the killing, he said they were removing the garden fence panels to paint them. He said a police officer had been called out by his neighbour. They explained that the panels were on their side of the property and he left them to it. Later that evening, he heard the banging noise and Miss Lotz pushed out one of the fence panels. He said he put it back. But later there was an almighty bang and another panel had been pushed out again with much more force. He said Foxwell recorded what happened on her phone, and that is when he believed Mrs. Lotz snatched her phone. Mr. Vroon went on, "Debbie was incredibly angry and hurling pottery that was in the overgrown garden. I remember the lodger leaning out of the window and telling her to stop. I had chased Debbie in an attempt to get her to return to our garden. I tried to persuade her, and she did come back to our house, but she was still absolutely livid. She used our home landline to call 999. She found the conversation with the dispatching officer dispatch infuriating and smashed the phone on the ground. He said he tried to restrain Foxfire as she went to the shed, then became fixated on the landline on which the police officer Slacker. He said he tried to restrain Foxwell as she went to the shed and then became fixated on the landline, which was the police operator ringing back. Mr. Vroon said he did not stop his partner as she left through the front door. He said it was stupid, I probably could have stopped her. He went on, she walked through the front door a couple of minutes later and closed the door behind her. She had the spade with her when she left, but when she came back, she hadn't. She said, "It's over, I've done it." She said it in a flat tone of voice like she was reading from a book. Asked to describe her mood at times, I said she had a white-hot anger. Well, that's that. So let's get some scriptures. Let me just find some scriptures. Yeah. Let me get John 8 and 44. So, it says John 8 and 44, and I'm going to apply this to Esau. It says, Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So this woman's forefather was Esau, and what did Esau do? Let's find out. So I'm going to read Genesis 4 and 1. And Adam knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. And she bare again his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground as an offering unto Yahweh. Dumbass. Cain tried to sacrifice fruit to impress Yahweh, when really you're supposed to sacrifice certain animals. And Abel also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof, and Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass that when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now thou art cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto Yahweh, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And Yahweh said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Now that mark that was set upon Cain was the mark of leprosy, because back then everybody was dark-skinned. So Cain would stand out, being the fact that he had no melanin. Let me go into Genesis 25 for Cain's reincarnation. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be fulfilled were delivered, behold, there were 2 twins in her womb. And the first came out, rode all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and they called his name Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when she bare them. And Esau grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So Esau was a cunning hunter, yeah. Now I want to get into Esau's blessing, which was the sword. Yeah, we go. This is Genesis 27 and 30. It says, And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from his presence of his father, Isaac, Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he had also made savoury meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat some of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. When Esau heard these words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now behold, he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved one blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given him for servants. And with corn and with wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou not but one blessing, O my father? Bless me even also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And here's the point, Genesis 27:40. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, but then I will slay my brother Jacob. So Esau's always had murder in his heart. Let me find one more scripture. This is Psalm 17 and 13. I'm going to close out on this one. This is Psalm 17 and 13. It says, Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Yep. So there. That's the account. Edomites being Edomites. Yeah. Murder. Was it worth it? You still ain't going to sell your house now, are you? Well, maybe you will. Who knows? But either way, your ass is going to be locked up. So with that, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Bah Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bah Hashem, Rachakodash, double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, that will well, and Shalom to all you Archean pushing this word in faith and in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.